If fear is the foundation of your sadhana, then it is no sadhana at all. Fear cannot become the rudimentary brick on which you are creating a whole structure of your sadhana. Fear has not to be there. It has to be total submission, love and faith.
Well, now that you talked about the beginner level of sadhana, that how should one start? Now, let's just say one is already into sadhana. So, how can they advance their sadhana?
When someone begins on this journey, he starts feeling light. And then there is a deep conviction in the heart that I want to go ahead. I want to do something more intense. If that feeling comes in someone's heart and you feel like going into a more intense sadhana, then Mantra Japa needs to be intensified.
What is actually Bhakti Yoga according to you?
Bhakti Marga is extolling and glorifying the Deity to the level of the sky so that you minuscule your ego and are able to dissolve in the magnanimity of the Deity. Bhakti Yoga is supposed to be the easiest and yet the most difficult because people are not able to dissolve their ego in the Deity.
Hello and welcome back to your favorite spiritual podcast, Speaking Tree, and this is Rangoli Sharma with you. Now, this podcast is a continuation to our previous podcasts with Maa Gyaan Suveera. In the previous one, we discussed about 10 Mahavidyas. In this one, we would understand how to initiate Upasana. What is Sadhana? How to be a sadhak? What is the difference between Sadhana and Upasana? The importance of Guru. What if you don't have a Guru? And why some people misuse their siddhis or tantra, and what is the consequence of that? What karma do they create? So stay tuned with me till the end of the podcast, and I welcome back again Maa Gyaan Suveera.
Thank you, Rangoli. Welcome to your audience as well. I'm very happy to be here with you again.
Yes, ma'am, and I'm sure it's going to be as interesting and as insightful as the previous one. So, as off the camera, we were talking about sadhana, we were talking about upasana, and in our previous podcast, we discussed about 10 Mahavidyas. Now that we've understood about 10 Mahavidyas, now let's understand for our audience how to do their sadhana. And before that, what is actually sadhana?
Yes. So, the two words you mentioned just now, sadhana and upasana, they're related. Upasana per se is a part of the sadhana. Upasana is more of a process and sadhana is a package. So, and these words are applicable even to other fields other than spirituality. So, upasana basically is a everyday discipline, everyday ritual discipline, self-ritual and self-discipline, where you're taking the upasana, that means you're taking the second seat. And on the first seat is your deity, is your guru, is your, the Devi that you are worshipping. And it's like a te between you and the deity. It's like a personal conversation, establishing a personal relationship, energetic rapport with the deity, so that there is a inner communication and inner knowingness that develops over a period of time. The word upasana actually in the olden tradition is more akin to meditation. In the Upanishads, the word upasana has been used more for meditation. But the word has developed, evolved over centuries to become a combination of the 2-3 things that you do. It could be a combination of mantra japa, meditation, and reading of some stotra, and even a conversation with the deity where you are expressing a brief of the day. We encourage upasana as an everyday routine. We encourage our students to take up everyday upasana. Either it could be in the morning or in the evening. I personally recommend evening more than morning, because morning is again a very busy time, and you could do your 1, 2, 3 things in the morning like meditation or little japa in the morning. But evening upasana is a very, very impacting something. We begin with lighting a lamp always. The lamp is representing, light. And it's like asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. It's like an invocation of light that opens up your inner knowing and inner understanding. Also, the prakash and the illumination of the lamp that you light falls in your inner vision and on your inner mind to reflect on what you're going to do in the upasana. So it always must begin with either lighting a lamp or a candle. In the Western world, people use a candle. After lighting the lamp, a combination, one can customize his upasana. If you have a guru, if someone has a guru, then a little prarthana for the guru is always nice, because he becomes a doorway to your deity. He is always that power that opens up your gateway to the deity. Communication with the deity and with Parmatma is very difficult without, this doorway. So for some people, deities become the guru, like we were speaking off the camera. Some people, deities become the guru, or even ascended masters who are not in present body, living on earth, they can become a gateway through which, you could transcend and connect to the deity.
But can a deity be your ultimate guru? Is it possible, Ma, that you do not need a guru in a physical form, and then you consider your deity, your Ishta Dev, to be your ultimate guru?
Yes, very honestly speaking, if that's really what you feel, then it's perfectly fine. That's your truth. The deity eventually will create a guru tattva in your life, will eventually bring forth someone who will voice what he wants to say to you. Like Krishna has said, avajananti ma mudha manusham tanumashtatam param bhavam janataha mama bhuta maheshwaram. So God will manifest, your deity will manifest as a physical person, someone who would narrate something to you or would say something to you, and he is personally guiding you. Then in different phases of your life, there are different teachings that he will impart to you. It's quite possible. Of course, it is quite possible. And there are subtle gurus that are guiding you. It's not necessary that somebody has to be in a body. There are subtler masters that are guiding you, and you feel the hand of someone on your head all the time. That also is possible. So, invocation of the Guru, after lighting the lamp, we invoke the Guru Tattva, and those forces here in the cosmos that are ready to guide me, I'm invoking them, revering them. You bow down and put your head on the ground is a gesture. We do a namaskar. You bow down, put your head on the ground as a gesture of surrender. It's a gesture of surrender, surrendering your intellect, your buddhi, to this process of upasana. That's how we begin. And then you can sit there and do your mantra japa. For beginners who are not aware of what mantra they are doing, they could just begin with these 2 steps. Even this will lead them into a space of knowingness and into a space of wisdom, where many other processes to be included in the upasana will happen. Even if a novice who is not done anything ever in his life incorporates a discipline in his life, where in the evening he is just washing his hands and feet, washing his face to feel fresh and good, and he lights a lamp, and he invokes the Guru Tattva and bows down and puts his head down on the floor, and then sits down just in blankness and in total surrender. This everyday routine will also invoke, open, and lead him on to a deeper path of upasana. Upasana gets intense then, where he feels the urge to read something. For instance, if you are in Shiva Bhakti, you would like to read a stotra of Shiva, Shiva Stuti or something, or just the Shiva mantra, the Panchakshari mantra or anything for some time, enjoying the serenity that it brings to you in those moments where you hearing yourself. When we say stotras loudly, there are all your senses involved. In comparison to when you say something in your mind, when you say something loudly, your eyes, nose, mouth, ears, everything are involved, and that kind of helps you to withdraw and close eyes and go into meditation. So reading a stotra or reading the mantra for some time, chanting the mantra for some time is a good idea, and then get into meditation for sure. That means close your eyes and just be with that beautiful smile like you have, just sit with that smile and feel that love in your heart. The love for yourself. We all love ourselves. Everything else comes later in the world. We all love ourselves.
Yes.
Can you just smile and create that love for yourself, that I'm feeling so good lighting a lamp and bowing down and then reading this beautiful something. I'm really feeling nice. For beginners, even this ritual would bring tremendous amount of energy.
It's like invoking the divine within you. With
Invoking the
this simple
divine
ritual.
within you, yes. Eventually, over many days and months, then he can incorporate more things into it. Like instead of just doing a couple of chants of the mantra, he can take on to one complete mala of 108 or 2 malas and take a resolve. Resolve goes hand in hand with your entire process of spiritual development. Resolve means sankalpa. That means I promise myself that I'm going to do 2 malas every day of that particular deity. Start doing the mantra, intensify your meditation experience a little, and this upasana will open a doorway into deeper knowing, in your life about spirituality, about bhakti, and about all that you ever wanted to know about the unseen world, and about the corridors of Parmatma open up for you.
So now comes sadhana. What is the difference between sadhana and upasana?
Yes, sadhana is Rangoli, a more bigger package.
Okay.
Sadhana is a way of life.
Okay.
Like a sportsman would have a disciplined life. All of what he eats, all of what he does as his practice every day, his lifestyle, everything is put together in his sadhana for him to become a better player. Similarly, for a spiritual seeker, a sadhana would mean his daily upasana, his way of life, his withdrawal, what all he is withdrawing from, his choice of food, diet, his satsang, what he is, whom is he dealing with. So his sadhana is a package of all the things that he is doing for his spiritual development. That becomes his sadhana. Sadhana is more of a spiritual discipline for a sadhak. And a person who follows a spiritual discipline is therefore called a sadhak.
Wow.
Yeah, sadhana word se sadhak bana hai.
Okay.
A person who does sadhana is a sadhak. Yeah, and therefore it's a bigger word, larger word, and could be a combination of many things. Could be a combination of your japa, your meditation, your stotra reading, you're teaching yourself Sanskrit, or you're reading every day, or listening to pravachans and commentaries of people. Sadhana is also a combination of all the yogas together. Yogas together means we often think that if a person is a sadhak, then he is into bhakti.
Yeah.
We often think that it's like a very easy declaration that he's a sadhak, so bhakti mein hai ye.
It's sort of a misconception that people have.
Yes. Actually, it is a combination of all the three things, of all the three margas.
Okay.
Bhakti marga, karma marga, and Gnana marga. That means that every sadhak, that means when you talk about your sadhana, there should be essentially as much bhakti as you can really feel from the heart. So even if a person is more oriented towards Gnana, he should still incorporate a little worship. He should still incorporate a little expression of love to the deity. It supports his Gnana marga.
Wow.
Like even big stalwarts like Adi Guru Shankaracharya, and he was a Advaita Guru, and Advaita does not require anything other than intellectual, mental contemplation on the truth. But he has written so many stotras, and he was in bhakti as well, and many other masters, people I know of, they are in Advaitic truth, but they have their everyday small little rituals that they do because it supports your conviction in the mind about the truth. So incorporating the right amount of bhakti, Gnana yoga and karma yoga in your life makes your sadhana very beautiful.
So Ma, now that you talked about the 3 marks, now let's understand what do they indicate. What is actually bhakti yoga according to you?
Bhakti yoga is actually reflecting on the feelings of your heart, offering the feelings of your heart to the Devi or to the deity that you believe in, and expanding this love that you have in your heart more and more by conscious rituals and worship. Bhakti marga is extolling and glorifying the deity to the level of the sky, so that you minuscule your ego and are able to dissolve in the magnanimity of the deity. Bhakti yoga is supposed to be the easiest and yet the most difficult, because people are not able to dissolve their ego in the deity. in the God. But the marga is very traditional, recommended for all the people, because it slowly makes the deity prominent, predominant, important, and makes you as the ego personality lesser important, diminishing, minusculing to the point of becoming a zero. When the bhakta dissolves his ego completely in the deity, there is only deity remaining, and the bhakta is not there. All that is Vithala. All that is Krishna. All that is the Devi. I am nothing. That is the the transcendence state of a bhakta. And eventually, even the deity disappears and there is only light, which means from the form to formless. The surrender of the ego to a form, and the form dissolving into the formless, taking the person absolute transcendence into Parmatma. Bhakti yoga is a very tried and tested marga over many centuries, and therefore it is the safest for householders as well as for all people. In Bhakti marga, there is nothing that one loses. He will
Only
always
gains.
Yes, he only steadily gains, because the predominance of the deity is like an inner invocation. When we understand the Vedantic truth of how the Brahman is projecting this whole life, then you understand that when you extol the deity, then the power of the deity becomes your power, actually. And the power is working and functional in your world, and you realize that I'm not doing anything, it's all happening. I am being taken charge by this extolled deity, and this deity is powerful like I can't imagine.
As they say that the deity that you pray to, you gain their qualities, you become like them.
Yes, it's not more like become like them, but the luster. It's like if you stand in front of a floodlight which has got a red filter, your face appears red. It's just like that. When the light of Parmatma, which is colorless, when the light of Parmatma penetrates and comes on to you through the deity, the reflection of the deity comes on you, the sheen, the gleam and the luster of the deity comes on you. When we talk about qualities, then again we are limiting ourselves to human qualities. For instance, different deities, some deities are very angry, they're depicted very angry, like Kali. Or so then that fear comes in the human mind, I hope I don't become angry like Kali, or I don't become angry like such and such deity. These limiting qualities of the human mind should be eradicated completely. Understand that the glory of the deity is coming on me more than the qualities. Qualities again your intellect interferes and say, I don't want this quality, I don't want this quality, I want this quality, I want this quality. So the doer in us, the person who is a doer all the time and wants to reach a point of perfection all the time, that needs to be silenced in bhakti. In bhakti, Shraddha and surrender, samarpana. Shraddha and sadhana, that means faith and surrender. Both these should be predominantly there in bhakti. Knowing very well that this deity or this God that I am worshipping is not a human. So he has nothing negative. There is nothing negative in gods and goddesses. It's only positive, So whatever I'm receiving is a blessing and is the glory and the luster of the God, rather than going into specifying qualities, right? So in Bhakti Yoga, the best part is that surrender becomes an easy process, and because you verbally say things like you say prayers, you sing kirtan bhajan, or you read poetry, or you are even having a conversation with the deity, Bhakti Yoga is very love oriented. It's mind oriented, love oriented, heart oriented. In comparison, Gnana Yoga is more tarka oriented. Discriminative intelligence is invoked, Vivek Buddhi is evoked, So, Gnana Yoga, after a point, needs Bhakti Yoga.
Really?
Yes. After a point, needs Bhakti Yoga, because the Gnana Yogi becomes very, very bright and intelligent, and sometimes egoistic. Sometimes very egoistic and full of pride. And so, a little Bhakti Yoga helps him to mellow down his own ego, helps him to surrender, and helps him to, it teaches him to, submit,
Yeah.
to the ultimate force.
To believe in something bigger than him.
Yes. Otherwise, it's like the Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi, is misunderstood by not a fully evolved person into Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma, which becomes the I is the false I that is declaring himself to be the Brahman, which it is not. The real I can come up only when the false I disappears. That means your ego identity and personality has to completely dissolve in the color of the deity or in the light of Parmatma. Only then that Brahman will come into its, it will show itself as a realization. So Gnana Yoga is more like an intellectual development of understanding the absolute and the truth through contemplation, meditation, supported by contemplation, meditation, extensive reading of bhashyas and books that speak about the truth, and also interpretations of the Vedantic scriptures. Gnana Yoga therefore is sevan. That means you are consuming wisdom pellets day and night. And there is a self-inquiry that goes on inside where you are understanding the false and the truth, play of the false and the truth through the day. You understand the substratum that is hidden behind every event of your life. Gnana Yoga is more intellectually churning of the truth. So if combined with Bhakti Yoga, it is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. Among the three margas that we have, like you asked me, Karma Yoga, what is the difference, if I may, elaborate on Bhakti Yoga, Gnana Yoga and Karma Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is more heart-oriented, love-oriented. Gnana Yoga is more intellectually oriented, tarka-oriented. It's more goes with the self-inquiry and logic. And Karma Yoga goes with the body involved in executing what the Lord wants him to execute. So if there is a combination of these three according to the person's need, suppose you are born with more love and a very automatic, organic connection with your Shiva. You are born a Bhakti Yogi. Support it with a little Gnana Yoga to go faster on the path.
Wow.
To go faster on the path so that you are able to understand your Shiva better. Get it? Though a bhakta does not need to understand, he is so surrendered. But when you know that you are not there where you need to be, and there is some urge inside to even progress more, support it with a little Gnana Yoga. And bring your Shiva consciousness in every activity of your life to convert your daily karma into Karma Yoga. Bring your Shiva in every activity of life. If you're making tea, make it as if you're making it for your Shiva.
Wow.
If you're cleaning your house, you're decorating your house with everything, do it as if you're doing it for him, and he can come anytime. So your Karma Yoga practice, where you're bringing your Shiva in every activity of your life, helps you to, progress faster.
And as we are sharing this message, this knowledge, this is all Shiva's also.
It is.
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Maa, now that you talked about the beginner level of sadhana, that how should one start? Now, let's just say one is already into sadhana. So, how can they advance their sadhana?
Yes. So, in the beginning, like I said, we explore how I feel about when I light a lamp and when I bow down and when I just sit quietly with a smile. How do I feel? I feel more love in my heart, more at ease. Then I talk with my deity. It helps. It's like a counseling session with a power, which is so magnanimous. I start feeling the changes in me. I feel light. The first thing that happens when someone begins on this journey, he starts feeling light. And then there is a deep conviction in the heart that I want to go ahead. I want to do something more intense. If that feeling comes in someone's heart and you feel like going into a more intense sadhana, then Mantra Japa needs to be intensified. Mantra Japa needs to be intensified. What does Mantra Japa do? Mantra Japa helps you to clean the filters of your senses, first of all. We say that our senses and mind on our senses and mind, there are layers and layers of conditioning, layers and layers of old perceptions and ignorance. So to say, the mull of ignorance is there. Until and unless this mull is removed or this ignorance is removed, truth cannot be perceived as it is. God cannot be realized, or progress, real spiritual progress cannot happen. Meditation and mantra japa, these are two things that need to intensify in the second level of your sadhana, where you have explored as a newcomer into tried doing mantra japa and tried communicating, conversing, which is mandatory. Nobody can just go to the second level of sadhana unless he has experienced the first level. Because if you're not cultivating that basic relationship with God, then you will not be convinced about your second level. And after some time, you get bored and you leave everything. Okay, I can't do all this. I'm not feeling anything in my heart. And then you would just want to leave it. So before one enters into the second level, one must explore, give himself time to explore the first level, where there is more of acclimatizing yourself with this unseen, unknown power, communicating with this unseen, unknown power with the help of little japa, little stotra reading, little meditation, lighting a lamp, bowing down, even practicing some other things that you would like to, bring it in combination. Then go to the second level. In the second level, meditation and japa has to become intense, which means now I have understood that I am moving towards, going in unison with the deity. I have to make my mantra japa and meditation intense. Some people, again, these are two different activities. Some people find meditation more powerful and profound and can meditate.
Yeah.
And they don't feel the importance to do japa, which is perfectly all right. If sincerely and honestly a sadhak is doing long time of meditation, that means at least half an hour to 1 hour of meditation, maybe he does not require so much of mantra japa. Also, a pinpointed faith in a particular deity is sometimes not there. And this can happen to sadhaks who have come a long way from many lifetimes, having explored different deities. They could have come in this present lifetime where they don't feel connected particularly to any god and goddess, but have this intense yearning for their ultimate Parmatma, which is formless. And they prefer to meditate without doing any rattling of mantra, which is perfectly all right. But who can say whether the person is really ready for long hours of meditation and does not need mantra? Who can say this? He himself can understand this. If he is able to meditate for a long time and does not feel the need for a mantra or for any particular worship of a form, it's perfectly all right. But if he cannot meditate and he wants to meditate and he does not have faith in any deity or any this thing, he needs to question himself. If I'm not able to meditate, why cannot somebody meditate? If the filters of your senses and your mind are loaded with ignorance or conditioning, past conditioning of many lives, karmas, or intense beliefs into whatever experiences you've had in, then meditation doesn't happen. So if he feels he's not able to meditate, then he needs to agree and understand and come to terms that something else is required. And this something else can be nothing better than mantra japa. Take on to a mantra that either he finds a mentor or a guide to give him a mantra, or he can explore and take. There are several mantras that have been given by our rishis for the humanity, and they can be taken up without a Guru Diksha. Yes, so many mantras are there that do not require Guru Diksha.
But Ma, so many people have this confusion or misconception that mantras do require a Diksha. So could you tell about those mantras that do not require a Diksha?
Yeah, simple mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
But some people also say that a woman should not start any mantra with Om. Is that also a myth?
A sadhak is a sadhak. He is neither a woman nor a man.
Okay.
A sadhak, when you say you're a sadhak and you're doing sadhana, you have transcended your gender.
Okay. So
now you're a being.
Okay.
You're a being in submission to the power. If your orientation in your head is on the gross body, then you can never transcend the myths and the wrong conditioning. Never. When you are a sadhak, you're declaring that I'm a being submitted to God.
There's no gender involved.
There's no gender here.
Yeah.
And so there is no difference. Mantra has been given by the Rishi for a man and a woman both. And even for other animals if they want to chant.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yeah.
So the Rishis have given, there are so many. Om Namah Shivaya, the simplest of the mantra. Ganganapate Namaha. You know, Devi's mantras are there. Simple mantras are there. They don't require any, you can just, and you know, the deities are such powers that they themselves initiate you. They themselves give you the diksha. You know, and the sadhak does not, it's not mandatory. Some people are lucky that they find a living guru. Some people are not so lucky. Then they can take on to a, to a guru who is ideally the perfect person or a guide that he thinks. You have so many ascended masters. We have so many ascended masters. You have Raman Maharshi, you have Adi Guru Shankaracharya, you have Mahavatar Babaji, Swami Samartha. So many. Yes, so many of them. You can keep the picture of whichever person you want to be guided with, and subtly they will guide you. They will give you diksha, they will give you the kind of initiation you require. So you have to have faith in the substratum and have faith in this unseen power and the various dimensions where ascended masters are there. You know, this faith has to be there. In this submission, you will be guided and taken care of. If fear is the foundation of your sadhana, then it is no sadhana at all. Fear cannot become the rudimentary brick on which you are creating a whole structure of your sadhana. Fear has not to be there. It has to be total submission, love, and faith. Faith is very, very primary, very, very essential. That I will be guided, I will be guided, I will be taken on the path. The deity will hold my hand personally, and all those masters who are there and watching me do what I am doing, they shall surround me and they shall lead me onto the path. This faith has to be essentially there.
This feeling of surrender and faith is required.
Yes. So in the second level of your sadhana, the higher level, where if you feel you are not able to meditate, then you need to take on to something that is going to remove and clean these layers of conditioning on your filters of your senses and mind. This is important. And Mantra Japa, tried and tested method that you take on to a mantra and start using it like a treadmill, like a generator, which is just moving, generating energy. And the basic need or the basic requirement that you have in your mind when you take up a mantra japa should be to clean my senses and make my chitta shant. That means the basic need, requirement for the mantra should not be this and that, this and that, this and that. Especially, crazy goals like I want siddhi, I want this, I want that, these should not be there. The basic need for you to get into a little intense sadhana should be that may my mind find peace and may my senses be pure. May all the layers of conditioning from my eyes and from my mind be removed and I am able to get closer to the Lord. This should be the need. And then when you do and when you take on the second level of sadhana, you intensify your mantra japa. We have tried tested methods of mantra japa. Regular sadhak should be doing at least 11 malas of any mantra every day. At least 11 malas. So for a householder of someone who is working and wants to take parallelly spiritual development, because this lifetime is not just for material pursuits or for pursuits of the household needs, it's also for your spiritual development. The soul becomes very, the soul experiences grief when a lifetime is wasted only on the gross material world. So spiritual development is an essential aspect of why your soul took birth as a human being. And if that is the purpose why you were born as a human, then out of the 24 hours, at least 1 hour should be dedicated for your spiritual development and evolution.
For your exploration.
Yes, absolutely. And Mantra Japa, therefore, should be started with 1 mala, 5 malas, 11 malas. Increase it consistently until you reach 11 malas, and you are now very comfortable doing 11 malas every day. For people who don't want to touch higher experiences of spiritual development, for them 11 malas is more than enough, and they can continue with their material pursuance, worldly pursuance, side by side, taking their spirituality hand in hand. A little worship, a little mantra, 11 malas of mantra japa, a little meditation is enough for consistent growth on the spiritual path. However, when people want to go higher and they have an urge to explore the higher realms, then they should enter into the third level of the sadhana, where the mantra japa gets very intense. You do something called Anushthan of a mantra. Anushthan of a mantra is a set count repetition of the mantra in set number of time. Normally, for many of the mantras, it is 1,25,000 chants to be completed in 40 days. And this, according to me as a teacher, is an exploration. The first time someone does an Anushthan, observe closely what is happening to you. Focus be on completion so that sankalpa gets over. And so there are many errors we do, all of us do, all the sadhaks do that, many errors in sense of the body posture, sitting posture, eating, food, etc. There are many blunders we do, but that's all right. The Deity accommodates all of that in His love. When you do the second Anushthan, be a little more careful and more better. So Anushthan, like I said, is more like a exploration of 1.25 chants, lakh chants, 1.25 lakh chants, 1,25,000 chants in a period of 40 days, which equals to approximately 30 malas every day, 30 rosaries every day. So 30 rosaries every day for any mantra, a reasonably long mantra, would take about 1.5 to 2 hours. At least 2.5 hours if it's a longer mantra, and shorter hoga, so it will take at least 1.5 hours. So that is expected. That means you should sit for at least 1.5 hours doing the chants with some form of sacrifice in these 40 days. Sacrifice means like giving up things of comfort, things of addiction. If I love to eat sweet every day, for those 40 days I said, okay, I'm not going to eat sweet these 40 days.
Or giving up on some bad habits.
Giving up on some bad habit, compulsive habit,
Addictive
habits. Yes. And also some level of comfort to be sacrificed. For instance, I will eat 1 meal a day and not 3 meals. Or there are people who sleep on the floor, or there are people who they don't shave, or they leave some part of your comfortable life.
What does this do when people leave their comfort zone, like as you said?
It is a reminder to the body not to go in slumber, and the mind does not go in slumber. Then the mind is active because you're sacrificing something that you're comfortable with, and it puts you more on alert, and there's a sense of victory and motivation there also.
Okay. So does it bring us more closer to the divine? Like just when you mentioned fasting, like why do we fast?
It doesn't, your first question first, it doesn't necessarily bring you closer to the divine.
Okay.
It brings you closer to your intention and sankalpa. It makes you more clear about what you're doing, and it makes you more serious about what you're doing. The sincerity and the seriousness that you're expressing through these 2-3 things that you're doing, that brings you closer to the divine.
Okay.
The sincerity and the seriousness that you're expressing as gestures through this discipline that you follow, this brings you closer to the Deity. And therefore, it is effective. It is effective. Your second question about fasting. Fasting sets right your mental and body chemistry. Again, fasting people do in different ways. I'm not going in too much detail about that, but fasting vis-a-vis connected to your Anushthan or to your Mantra Japa will set the body's energy system right. That means controlled consumption of food, controlled and monitored consumption of food, will set the body chemistry right. It supports the energy system to exactly give you what you need to progress on the path. For instance, avoiding things like heavy food, which is more tamasic in nature, can eradicate. If you avoid, let's say you have potatoes, you have garlic, you have onions. These are food that increase the tamas in the body. And increase of tamas in the body would mean increase in laziness and slumber. Which means that in the Mantra Japa, I want more focus. I want my body to be lighter. I want to experience those subtle waves of energy that are being transmitted. If my body is more tamasic oriented, I will not experience that at all. So I try to keep my body as light as I can. I'm able to catch those vibes to understand. Also, when the body is light, the mind is lighter, the intellect is sharper. When the body is lighter, then the intellect is sharper, and which means that the buddhi will now understand what's happening, during this period of my Anushthan. So food regulation, little bit of fasting, giving up on something that you're really addicted to or compulsively eating or doing helps your practice. It makes your Anushthan stronger, makes your Sankalp Shakti stronger, and forbearance, tolerance, titiksha becomes more. And this supports, your conveying to the deity. It takes you closer to the deity. Yeah.
Ma, now I want to understand the ascending order of some sadhanas. In the previous podcast, we talk about 10 Mahavidyas. So, is it like there's an order that, the sadhana of Mahavidyas is greater than that of Devi Devtas? Is there a particular order?
No, there isn't. Each one to himself. Because you don't know what was your past lives, what sadhana you've done, where have you come from, which sampradayas, samudayas you belong to. You don't know. So, a person, if you do the evaluation of this, what you said in present timeline, then it would be full of errors. The evaluation needs to be done in from the previous lifetimes, and that can be done only by the person himself. So there's a calling. We have a word called calling. We have a calling. Some people are drawn to Shiva Bhakti, and in the Shiva Bhakti, sometimes he gets drawn to a Devi. So there's a calling, your inner guide. We call it Guru Bodh also, Swaguru Bodh. Swaguru Bodh is like the invocation of the Guru within. And then there is a voice in your head that will guide you. There's a voice in your head that will give you straight, clear instructions. And follow that. Follow that. The ego and when the intellect and the ego work together, which in normal people, the intellect and the ego work together. So we are all the time scanning what is the shortcut. We are all the time exploring what is my best take, what is my take back. We have these very typical conditioned words, in competitive world, gross competitive world, that one has to be better, faster, more clearer than the other person. These things don't apply on the spiritual path, because it's a journey of the soul alone, of you alone, and you're not walking slower or faster because there's no comparison. I can say I'm walking slow only when I compare to someone who's walking fast. Otherwise, the speed need not have an adjective, right? At my own pace. And on the path of spirituality, you go leaps and bounds sometimes, and sometimes stagnated for a long, long time. And this has to be submitted to the faith, to the deity, because the deity knows what's good for you. He'll make you run when you have to run, and he'll make you stop when you have to stop. That faith has to be there. That means that a lifelong journey of unquestioned devotion, and absolute uncomplaining self-reliance on your path. That means there are no complaints, there's no blaming, there's no shifting, there's no doubting, there's no questioning. One-pointed 100% devotion to the path that you have taken. And that will 100% give you success.
Ma, now I want to understand the spiritual ego that people develop. So let's just say people who follow Shakti, they would say Shakti is supreme. People who follow Shaivism, they would say Shiva is supreme. And so would be the people who say Krishna is the supreme God. Why do you think that happens? When all these energies are leading us to that one energy, to that supreme soul Parmatma, why there is so much ego and confusion and clash between devotees?
Yes, that's because when someone makes that statement, Krishna is the ultimate or Shiva is the ultimate, they are not wrong from their point of view.
Yeah.
Because they see the Paramatma in the Krishna, they see the Paramatma in the Shiva,
Yeah.
they see the Paramatma in the Devi. But for an onlooker, one has to take this, like children say, my mom is the best, and what's wrong with that? So it's not wrong from the child's point of view, but as an onlooker, you need to understand it's his love for the God that makes him say he's the best, and what's wrong with it?
Wow, that's one of the most beautiful explanation of this question I've ever heard, because
Yes.
I've asked this to so many people out there.
Yeah, and so as an onlooker, as an intelligent, evaluating onlooker, you have to understand what is the definition of God first. To be understood that God is neither this, nor this, nor this, nor this, and yet He is all of this. He is in every grain and every iota of this universe. There is no creation which is not God. And so if someone says in love of Krishna, Krishna is the ultimate, what's wrong with it? It's right. That Paramatma is formless. It's formless, it's attributeless, and He takes the form of whatever deity you love. You go to a small village, you go to a tribal place somewhere, they have their deities. The stones are there and they have their deities, and they say that He is our Mata Pita Raksha Karta, and He's everything. There's nothing wrong with it, that He's right, because they have invoked the Paramatma in that form.
Yeah.
Those that say Shiva is the best have invoked Paramatma in that form. Those that say the Krishna is the best have invoked Paramatma in that form. Paramatma Himself takes all the forms and gives and showers His blessings through that form on all human beings.
But Ma, what I think can be the problem is that when you try so hard to make people believe that what my reality of God is, you should believe that as well. When people do that when I believe Krishna is supreme, you also believe that Krishna is supreme.
So that's the play of the ego.
Yeah.
That's where the play of the ego, which is your question actually, that every sadhak must recognize his ego.
Yeah.
And every sadhak must understand his Krishna and must understand his Shiva to the T. Explore, understand, the form has to dissolve in the formless. And if it has not dissolved in the formless, then it's a lover's story and you continue to be in it, not not arguing about it with the world, because that is futile. That's not of any use.
Yeah.
And as much as you love your Krishna, that much somebody loves his Shiva.
Yeah.
And so that argument is an egoistic argument. Totally. And one has to keep quiet. Every sadhak must understand this, that if he does not dissolve his ego in that Krishna and become quiet about his practices. That's why we say we don't discuss our mantras with someone. That's why we say don't, all the gurus, all the teachers say that don't discuss your mantra, reveal your mantra to someone, or what you're doing in your upasana need not be told to someone. That's because we don't want to open up everything and make it susceptible for arguments.
Yeah, because it's something so intimate between you and your God.
Absolutely yes. And that need not be discussed, because then you're vulnerable and you're asking people to comment on whether a red cloth should be used or a green cloth should be used, this hand or that hand, water or no water, tilak or no tilak. You don't want other people's, ignorant people asking ignorant people, can you give me wisdom? It's like, you know what I mean, that the only person who can show you the truth is your guru or your deity. And nothing else. So discussions about this should not be had with other people.
So Ma, now that we talked so much about bhakti, there is one question that is so much there in my head all the time, that people in bhakti marg, they get siddhis. And when they misuse those siddhis, what happens? And the same goes with tantra. When people have power and they misuse those powers to harm people, what has happened? What karma do they create?
Of course, they create karma. See, this whole universe is flawlessly running on the law of cause and effect,
Yeah.
the karma cycle. And so if a sadhak has grown to such a height that he has acquired some powers, then he has to go into complete silence to understand the maturity and responsibility of that power and surrender even that power. An intelligent sadhak will never exhibit his power, because the moment you exhibit your power, then there are people who are drawn like flies coming on something sweet. So they should be not exhibited. These powers also need to be surrendered at the feet of the Lord, because these are coming as an effect of your sadhana. They are not to be utilized in the world.
Really?
First of all, every sadhak should understand this is not for utility in the world. They are coming as a byproduct of my devotion and dedication, and my devotion and dedication gets filtered the moment I think about monetizing it or utilizing these powers in the world. And so they have to be offered at the feet of the Lord. And it's a slippery path. बहुत कठिन है डगर पनघट की.
Yes.
It's a very slippery path. That means that if a sadhak slips into and gets allured into utilizing pompously or utilizing it for a monetary purpose of any way, then he falls into that big trap of the law of cause and effect. And then there is a tumultuous path, very tumultuous path. It's not easy then. Not only does he lose his direction, not only will he lose his authenticity, the love that he has for his deity also gets adulterated into the colors of power, because then the lower traps of Kanchan, Kamini and Kirti, they trap him, and then he becomes as human as any other human, lower than the journey where he started from in this lifetime, even lower. So law of cause and effect should be kept in mind, bold and clear. And any kind of blessings that you receive on the journey of bhakti should be kept quiet, should be kept guhya, and should be surrendered at the feet of the Lord. None of these need to be exhibited or even spoken about, because you yourself are an enemy to yourself.
Yeah.
On the path, you yourself are an enemy to yourself. And the size of the ego is not demarcated anytime. The man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar are not having a gross dimension. No, there's no size. So they can bloat to any size and can even eat you up.
Yes, Ma, absolutely. And I think our audience got something as meaningful from this podcast as well as they got from the previous one, because in this one, we understood how to do the Upasana. We understood about Mahavidyas in the previous one. We understood in this one what is Sadhana, what is Upasana, what is Guru, how can you strengthen your connection with your deity. So I hope you found this podcast as insightful as I did, and it was very enlightening for me as well. So do share this podcast as much as possible, and we'll meet in the second one. This is Rangoli with you. Namaste.